How does Greg Gard retool after what was a good but interesting season for Wisconsin last year? I'm going to go through some of the offensive and defensive film breakdown of what they could potentially do on both sides of the ball this year. One thing that's for sure of what Wisconsin's going to do is they're going to get the ball to fifth-year Steven Crowell in the post. Now, Crowell has had good success throughout the Big Ten, just being a very solid player, kind of on both ends of the ball. They can kind of throw to him quickly, let him go up. They can run set plays to kind of allow things to develop more, or just their natural flow of the offense. And that's something that, especially this season with guys like Tyler Wall or Chucky Hepburn gone, AJ Storr, 3 of their 5 starters, I would expect Crowell to even get the ball a bit more in the post. So this one right here, we'll rewind it a little bit, but you're just going to see Crowell's going to start creating kind of his spot right away. Wall's going to kind of run off a little bit of a rub screen right here, just trying to open up this entire area. You can see Chucky's going to stay up here. So now Crowell can catch it and he can just go up over the top of the defense, being a 7-footer. So another example we're going to look at of a Crowell post up, this is going to be more kind of within their flow of their offense. So he's going to be here, ball's going to be in the corner, high ball screen. You're going to see him slip, right? And he doesn't get it right here, but that could have turned into a post up. Instead, Wisconsin's going to go through their normal motion, and we're going to talk about this in just a second, but ball swings. Okay, now it's going to flip to the other side for a high pick and roll. Nothing happens. And now it's going to set up another one right here. And this is where Crowell's going to be setting the screen. Remember last time, he dove, had an opportunity to either catch or seal, just didn't get the ball. This time, he's going to kind of do the same thing, where he's going to pop into kind of the open area, look at him getting the ball. His defender's able to get back, but from now, it's one-on-one, pretty good spacing surrounding him, and Crowell's just able to get to his move, go up, and then get the bucket. So now in this play, we're going to look at what is just Wisconsin's kind of bread and butter in terms of what they're going to run offensively. It's kind of a continuity ball screen type action, just movement, kind of moving it along the top of the perimeter. So you're going to start here, ball in the wing, pick and roll, nothing's going to really happen from it. And so there's always going to be like a secondary big. So if Wall's the 4, Gilmore's the 5, or vice versa in this lineup specifically, one of them's probably going to be setting a screen and diving, and the other, if they aren't posting up, they're going to be up here at the top of the key where they can now catch the ball, swing. And so I'm going to rewind just a second here to show. It's usually this formation too, where there's a guard on the wing, guard in the corner. Wing generally is going to back cut, and then the ball's going to be thrown to the further guard and set up again, another pick and roll. You're going to see Wall replaces up top because nothing happened. Back screen or Hepburn's going to kind of just switch spots. They switch again. There's a little bit of read and react here. And now nothing happens. Reverse it back. Flow into another pick and roll just until something happens. I mean, you can just see it's what they do. And now it's going to eventually end up here with Klesmit. And I think Klesmit's a guy that maybe could get the ball in his hands a little bit more this season with both Chucky, AJ Storr, and also Tyler Wall being gone. I think there's more potential for more of a role here, but high pick and roll, 4 seconds left on the shot clock, has to force it up, and does get that one to go. Incoming transfer Cameron Hunter is a guy that definitely can run pick and roll, and he's probably more of a true point guard, but definitely some combo guard to him of just being able to score, get downhill, has a good physical body, and so he should fit right in pretty much in terms of being able to kind of run these pick and rolls, a little bit of read and react. This can be him with the ball here. Now, he didn't play last season due to injury, but so this is from 2 years ago. You're just going to see here, high ball screen. Hunter's going to be able to use it and then get downhill. And he does good once he's kind of getting downhill into space. Their defender's in drop coverage, so he's just going to go right at the big, not allow his guard to get back. His big on his team isn't really in a position to catch the ball, but I mean, you can see there, the acrobatic and just kind of physicalness of his drives and ability to finish at the rim right there. Now, another aspect to it of just kind of the pick and roll offense that Wisconsin runs is the ability to pick and pop. So you're going to see here as Wisconsin's going to bring up the ball right here as they get the rebounds. Wisconsin, especially this year, we're going to talk about another guy in just a second. They're going to have two true guys that can pick and pop from both their 4 and 5 spots. And Crowell's going to be one of them. At the 5, he hasn't always shot the great, but he's shown he definitely can shoot the ball from 3 very well. So you're going to see here, it's kind of a drag screen up top. And so sometimes especially with like Wall here, if there's another big already posted up on the block, sometimes this big, especially in Crowell who can shoot, he's just going to pop out then and let Wall kind of stay on the post, because now as Crowell catches it here, I mean, you can see Chucky did a great job of bringing Reese down. If Reese was up here, Crowell could try to swing it and then maybe look for a post up here, or Crowell can just catch and shoot it like this. Incoming transfer Xavier Amos is just probably like a perfect fit for what Wisconsin wants at their 4. He can run pick and or be the roll man and pick and roll. He can pop, he can shoot, he can help defend the rim defensively. I just think there's a lot of upside to what he brings. But he also played in a system, especially offensively, that was somewhat similar, kind of the continuity ball screen. And so right here, although that's maybe not the specific action that I showed for Wisconsin earlier, you're going to see him right here. He's just going to kind of slip this screen and be able to pop out. Now, he's a true 4-man, like 6'9", 6'10", and he's going to have the legit ability to just kind of stretch the floor, be able to pop out, shoot threes, and that should translate really, really well to what Wisconsin wants to do. Another kind of beneficiary of a lot of the pick and roll that they run is that maybe the pick and roll itself doesn't create anything, but it creates openings elsewhere for kind of spot up opportunities. Wisconsin has multiple shooters at the guard and wing position that really can help kind of get looks from this. So you're going to see Wisconsin's going to flow into their stuff. This one's going to flow back into a Hepburn pick and roll here. And now as it goes into wall in the post, which is what they will do oftentimes, right, where their other big is going to be posting up on the block. Now as he catches it, you're going to see the defense way rotated in already. Just kind of some miscommunication with Crowell diving about who has who. Battle's going to get fully screened in. Okpara is going to get screened in. So now Klesmit, who was a really, really good shooter, able to get a very, very clean look from 3. Another example of it right here, this time going to be from John Blackwell, who also had a very, very good freshman season. Going to see Wisconsin's in their thing. Okay, going to set a high ball screen. Carl's going to be up top. Store's going to come off. Move the ball to the next spot. Nothing's happening. Okay, we're going to flow back and try to get it again to the post up right here. And this is where, especially last year, having a guy like AJ Store was kind of important, is he could just be somebody that could go kind of try and create. And that's what he's going to do here. Just this one hard dribble. It's going to freeze the defense just enough to kind of get kickouts. And so Wisconsin's going to have to replace this guy of just somebody that can kind of athletic wing that can go and create. We'll see who exactly tries to do that this year, but you're going to see here, Blackwell spacing out in the corner. Really, I mean, he was still contested. It didn't matter. He knocked down a bunch of threes last year. Another kind of common theme for Wisconsin offense is the cutting. So they have that kind of set motion offense or pick and roll offense that I talked about, but there's definitely like variation in some read and react elements to it. It doesn't have to be so stationary always. And if you read that you're being overplayed, then you're just going to cut back door and then get a good look. Or Crowell's a pretty good passer from the post. He can make passes out of the post if needed too, like he's going to do here. So now, once this double comes over from Wall's guy, you're going to see defense also going to drop down. They do a good job or SMU right here of kind of rotating properly, but they're going to see another cutter. And so Wisconsin, I think, does a good job of understanding where they need to go, where's the space needed. Klesmit just going to kind of cut to this little paint right here and get the floater to go. Another example of the cuts right here. So Wisconsin's going to bring the ball up, get into their offensive set. So you're going to see high ball screen, flow to the other side, where Hepburn's now going to be the one catching. But the thing to watch here, so I'm going to rewind a bit. Blackwell, who is normally, so you have your big guard is kind of Wisconsin's formation. Usually this first guard is going to cut back door. Sometimes he just cuts through. Sometimes he maybe relocates to the corner, sometimes all the way through. This one, they're looking to get Crowell on a post up. They already see, right, with Rutgers up here in this hedge right here, that means there's going to be 2 defenders, and that means a guard's going to have to rotate over. And so guard's going to get back, but you can already see Amori's kind of out of position, or not out of position per se, but he's going to have to work his way to get back. And so now Wisconsin's going to use this guy right here, Blackwell, this cutter, to now open up another cuts. So now Crowell, you can see the spacing that he has right here in very good position, and then is able to get the dunk. Moving to Wisconsin's defense, and I think the first thing that stands out is what the kind of rim pressure is and rim defense is for Wisconsin. They were in the bottom 1 percentile in terms of efficiency on defense, so aka like teams converted a lot of their shots at the rim, but also Wisconsin was in the top 1% of limiting shots at the rim. So basically, Wisconsin doesn't allow many shots at the rim, but the ones that they do, those ones generally go in. Part of it is just kind of what they do defensively in terms of rim coverage, things like that. So you can see Crowell here. He's going to be in drop coverage, just scooting back off of this screen, keeping the ball handler and the roller in front. But Wisconsin also will oftentimes have a lot of help. And so you're going to see him, Crowell right here. He's pointing for Wall to rotate over. And this is going to be Wall's job at the rim. It's just Wisconsin doesn't always have a great rim protector at the 4-man, but they use that guy a lot to try to help protect the rim. So now, I mean, this is pretty good defense. Like this maybe isn't the absolute best example because Gale's just a really good take right there, but you can see the concept of maybe not always having Kral be there, somebody else rotate over and then convert at the rim, but sometimes also just having that guy there. If this wasn't like a really, really good player, they might just opt for a little bit of a floater or something like that. So it's a little bit of a give and take in that area. Now on this play right here, we'll look at actually the offense being forced into more of a mid-range or a floater, something that Wisconsin does a ton of. So ball's going to be brought up right here. You're going to eventually see a high pick and roll right here. Winter is going to be in more of that drop coverage, like I said. Now he's going to be kind of staying with the ball handler more. Last time Kral stayed with the roller more and forced the 4-man to be the one to help. He's going to stay here. And so this is what happens a lot for Wisconsin is you're going to see you have both of your bigs kind of in the paints near the rim right now. And so what that does is it tries to just take away shots at the rim. And so now SMU has to go do a little bit of a floater. They miss right there. And that's just a very common theme within Wisconsin's defense. Now, because of the style of defense that Wisconsin plays, they force a lot of pull-ups. Teams do make a lot of pull-ups against them, but those are the shots that Wisconsin's defense is willing to live with. So you're going to see Bowie bring the ball up here against Wisconsin. And so nobody really in the strong side corner right now. High ball screen. Kral, especially with a non-shooter as a big, he's going to be in this little bit of a deeper drop coverage. But then if there's any sort of separation, there's just no help at all, or there's no really ability to help. And Wisconsin's going to be fine with that. Maybe not with Bowie specifically, but more often than not, they're fine with a guy taking a shot like this rather than getting downhill, and they're just going to kind of live with the results. One area Wisconsin really struggled with last year defensively was defending the pick and roll. They were in just the 16th percentile in terms of defending pick and roll. Now they have two kind of different defenses that they'll run defensively. I've mentioned the drop a lot, and that is more of their base in terms of what they want to do defensively. That's what we'll go through on this play, but what it can open up also for offenses. So Kral here going to be in that drop coverage, like I said, coming off of this screen. He wants to keep the ball handler and the roller in front of him, but sometimes that just means like he'll be either caught too much, and this roller right here, especially like if they can kind of short roll to this 15-foot mark, that's where teams can find a lot of success against Wisconsin, kind of picking the pocket right here, getting to a little floater pull up. And Wisconsin's, like I said, they're going to kind of live with those shots. Now, there is another style of pick and roll coverage that Wisconsin tends to run, and that is the high hedge. So you're going to see it, not on this first one, but eventually as they flow into this side ball screen, this is where you're going to see, okay, so now this is that hard hedge, and Kral's going to be forced to really step up, and they just want to make the ball handler retreat, allowing the big to get back. Now, if Kral gets stuck, that's where issues can happen, and that's what happens here. Parker Fox, again, on this kind of short roll where he isn't catching at the rim, he's catching more in the mid-range area. Now this is going to be on the other 4-man, Carter Gilmore in this case, to be able to rotate over. He gets there in time, but it kind of goes back to the Wisconsin just doesn't have and hasn't had a ton of true rim protectors really outside of Kral, especially at the 4-man spot of guys being able to help. So now Parker Fox just able to go up and over and finish. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe and click here for more Wisconsin basketball preview content.